Hey, all. It's going to be a minute or two before Can joins us because we just both left the drawing club, and so good night, Sarge. Um, hey, Sugar Plum. Welcome to the show. All right, get ourselves some music in here. Good night, Sarge. Hello, Tormund, and meow to you as well. You're going to bed too. Huh?
This is Art Partner signing off.
Signing off. Good smelling breath.
Well, that's because I brushed my teeth.
It's because you brushed your teeth. And there's the cat. Consistency with George.
Hello,
George consistent.
Brent.
George is consistently Georgie.
He is very Georgie. And there he goes again. Okay, so quacktastics. And I didn't see tastics there. I saw a different word.
Could be a thing.
And I just want to remind you guys that you're still a PG-13 show.
Could also be a thing. Okay. Let's get ourselves to work. Alrighty. Let's get ourselves to work.
Yeah, that's the worst thing I've ever heard.
Okay, so that's what a sty is. Did you know that?
That's the worst thing I've ever heard, and I hate it. Why did you tell me this?
Okay.
Go to bed.
Alrighty. I was having an interesting discussion with the guys today in the drawing group. And we were discussing AI and AI assisted things and stuff like that. And it was an interesting discussion because are we at 05? We are. It was an interesting discussion because we were talking about the uses of AI. What is it with you today? You're like picking it up and redoing it. Like, has it offended you, George? Are you offended, George? Are we having a problem? Do we need to have an intervention? We were talking about the computer assisted tools. So if you have computer assisted tools, how is that helping. We're not talking about people who use AI to, to pretend like they're artists. They're not actually making art. They're just using AI to make things. I love you. Yeah.
You need to fuck with the bed.
I already futzed with it. I like that. That's a word. So a word. We're futzing. Yeah. You can't hear the music? Maybe it's just really low tonight. Yeah, usually when we have the music set at 50, which is its default, it's overpowering. So we tend to turn it down. Hey, Garuda. Long time no see, Garuda. It's been so long since I saw you. Garuda was at the meeting tonight. That's why I was like, that's why I'm making snarky comments. Because it's funny and I don't know. I don't know. I'm just human. I'm easily entertained. I'm always easily entertained. That's right. You guys stay friends with me. Regardless, you guys stay friends with me. I think Can survived.
Somehow.
Can survived.
I have a massive headache right now.
It's because you were talking to me.
Well, no, it's because for a long time I was sit across some very, very screamy kids.
You did. They were really loud. It's all right though.
And I have discovered that apparently I am not how do I want to put this? Because I don't want to sound mean. I'm very sensitive to noise. And it between the Magic players,
Yeah.
it really got to me. It was pretty bad. And I know they're kids. They're gonna be kids, and it's like, oh my goodness, okay. But when you're not used to it after a year of being away from,
Well, that's the problem. Is like we've been doing.
you're good, Garuda. But it's I've been away from it.
Yeah, that's the thing, is that COVID has pretty much taken us out of all of this loop. And we haven't been used to being with other humans. You feel bad for poor Bob.
What's going on with Bob?
I didn't mean to make him feel all defensive. He was feeling all defensive. I was like, I didn't mean to make you feel defensive.
That was a very interesting conversation.
It was. And that's really, I literally was doing the, okay, defend your position. You know, I was like, cool. And then he was like, I don't mean to be a jerk. And I'm like, you're not. It's fine. Defend your position. You know? It's like, yeah, no problem with what you said. Defend your position. I think mostly because you and I have been sort of externally discussing AI and how AI impacts the world and impacts our world. And so we've been processing it, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And I don't think he's had that many people who are trying to see through it. Instead, he's just, you know, he's running up against the problems of it, which there are many.
Yeah.
You know, there are quite a few problems with AI. It's a legitimate threat.
And there's also something interesting that I'm not sure if you caught, but I definitely caught. And that is, he has some very, very strong opinions. But when he's called out on it, he'll instantly go, "Oh, I was joking."
Yeah.
And he tries to
Downplay
it as a joke, and it's like, you weren't joking. You were legitimately very angry. Hello.
Person Entertainment, new subscriber. Hi, new subscriber.
But you know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Well, and that's why I was saying he doesn't need to back down. You know, I said to him, I'm like, you don't need to back down. It's okay. Just defend your position.
Yeah.
I'm curious. What's your position? Defend it. Yeah. I didn't mean to close it. I still have things. Still have work to do on these panels. And thank you for subscribing, Liam Parsons. Yeah, it was like the whole thing where he was like, please don't tag me. And I'm like, no problem. He was like very apologetic. I'm like, don't be apologetic. I don't know what the rules are. I still don't understand all the rules for this social media stuff. You know?
Yeah.
It's like,
and
we're supposed to tag people. I've been like, called out for not tagging people. And it's like, oh, come on. So I just need to figure out what the dumb rules are. It doesn't bother me.
And it might be an individual thing,
Yeah. You might have been fine with it or not. And I guess the only way I'll know, I don't know which way to default though.
So
I obviously cannot default to not doing it because that seems to, also be a bad, I don't know. It's fair. I'll figure it out. I'm not that worried.
So it seems to me like the default way of doing it is ask.
Yeah, and And that probably would have been the better choice at the time, but for some reason at the time, I couldn't, for whatever reason, I couldn't remember why. Like, that wasn't an option. Or, no, I know what it is. There's too many of these things going around, you know? It's happening too fast. I think the whole thing is happening too fast for me. Like, I don't feel like I can keep my grasp on these things.
Well, and there's too many social things that are happening all at once. Like, we're almost not being allowed to have time to adjust to old ways of thinking before the next problem comes in.
Yeah. Well, and I'm not terribly good at operating on the fly per se. You know what I mean? Like, to me, ask is problematic because I'll ask and then forget to check on the post. And then forget the post. And then forget what was going on. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then it was like, oh, that's right. I was supposed to have tagged you. And then now you're mad at me because you think I'm taking credit for your thing. And I'm not. And you know what I mean? Like, I don't know. It's hard. It's hard for me. I'm having a hard time with it. I understand exactly where he's coming from, though.
Yeah.
But he then complicated it by dithering. And I'm like, no, don't complicate. Oh, no. Because now it's like, well, no, if it's an alternating Tuesday and, you know, a whole bunch of rules. And I know all the rules. So.
Yeah, we aren't allowed to have social norms right now.
It's really hard. I was talking to my therapist about that today, and she was commenting about if you choose to be in the limelight, you take all the responsibility for all the things that happen in the limelight. She's like, I don't get these influencers who get on and become influencers and then get mad when they get canceled. That's the nature of the limelight. You know?
Yeah.
You're there. She was like, you're an artist. You take responsibility for the things that you do. You know, what started this was where I'm realizing that I am remarkably fragile on one of the things that I'm trying to say, right? My comic has nudity in it because I'm trying to say that they are okay with their bodies. But I'm really fragile there because I also have had a history of growing up with being extremely aware of how our society treats women and objectifies them and things like that, you know. And so it's really difficult for me because that's a fragile space. If someone were to just once in here do the, you know, you're just doing this because you want to draw naked women, the odds are good that I would freak out and go into one of my spirals like I do with the maquettes, you know. And her statement was, that's not what you're doing. You're trying to make a point. So stand behind it. You know, accept that that's going to be a plausibility and stand behind it. And I'm like, that's
Yeah.
hard. And she's like, I get that. She's like, that's why we're here. You know, like, but it
and
is. I'm
that's
fragile
why-
there.
That's why I stepped in a little bit when you started referring to the Maquettes as handicapped.
Yep. She got me on the same thing because I was using Objectify. And she actually stopped us and then Googled Objectify. And because I had said something about how, you know, I appreciate it when people let me objectify some part of their body because it's, as an artist, I'm fascinated by these things. And she's like, let me back you up on this one. Because she says, you know, let's look up Objectify. And one of the definitions is that you are reducing somebody to an object. And she says that has a negative connotation. You're not reducing anyone to an object. You know, you still are appreciating the human that has the body. And I'm like, yes, of course, you know. And she's like, that's not objectification.
Yeah.
She's like, that's different. She's like, stop using negative loaded terms. And you caught me on one tonight too. Handicap, you know.
Yeah. And instantly I was like, don't use that term because it doesn't
Mhm.
apply to you.
You called me on it. And correctly so.
And part of the reason why I called you on it has to do with it makes it sound like you need the maquettes in order to operate as an artist, and you absolutely do not.
That is correct. You are right. On both of those assessments.
But I think there was some very interesting conversations that happened tonight.
Mhm. Yeah.
Particularly with AI. And while I was my typical self where I'm kind of antisocial, but I was listening to everything because I can't turn that off. Like that was the thing I made the discovery about not earlier today, it was a day or two ago, in which I can't turn off the background noise. You know how you can just mentally turn it off?
You're
And
talking to the wrong person.
well, everybody has the ability of tuning out the background. I can't do it.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not because I want to be front and center to everyone's conversation. It has to do with my parents both being hard of hearing. And at a moment's notice, I have to be aware of what the conversation was and translate for my mom what was being said, or my dad. I used to do the same thing.
Mm-hmm.
So now I can't tune out the background.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I have the same problem, but because of stupid ADD, all noise comes into my brain at the same value.
Yeah.
So it becomes markedly more difficult to understand, comprehend what people are saying when we're in a louder location, like we were.
And it like the Magic players are all really, really loud.
Yeah.
And that's not their fault, but
No. But it is difficult to follow and comprehend. I get it. Same thing going on here, you know. Yep. But that AI discussion was fascinating.
yeah, absolutely.
I really wish. I mean, I'm kind of slightly frustrated because I'm like, I wanted to know what Bob was thinking. He was working through something, and I really wanted to know what he was thinking. But he was, like you were saying, he was kind of like doing the, oh, I have said something wrong, so I'm going to back out of it. And I'm like, no, I wanted, that's what I wanted. I wanted to know. You know, it was like, and I can appreciate his position. I totally do.
Yeah.
But it definitely was, but I wanted to know what your position was on this, you know.
Because I think he had a good position.
I think he did too. I'm just curious what it was, you know.
Well, I think it was a two-part thing. And the two parts kind of make sense. The first part is that AI artists who are just in it for money are hacks.
Yeah.
We all can get that.
Yeah, nobody disagrees on that one, yeah.
But I think there was a deeper one in there that he was starting to hint at. And the deeper one is the more interesting one.
That was what I was after.
And that one,
Yes.
huh?
Garuda's dealing with it with his Airbnb guests. I'm just acknowledging Garuda. That's all. Go ahead.
Oh, okay. So the other part, from what I could piece together, is he kind of views that if you're an artist and you're doing that, you're a bit of a hack too.
Right. That's what I wanted to know.
Because you shouldn't have to rely on that.
Yeah, and that's what I wanted to know. I wanted him to defend that position. because I think that was what I was also getting, because he that was what he was defending from, because I showed him the pictures of the ships that I was interested in, and his response was, "That's stupid," you know, and then instantly thought, "Oh, that probably wasn't a good idea." Yeah, we're still talking about the AI stuff. You know what I mean? Like, I showed him the ships where I was like, I think this is fascinating. Not using it in and of itself, but using it to start an idea of spacecraft. You know what I mean? Like, start a spacecraft design like this. And, you know, he was like, well, that's stupid. And then he immediately caught himself and said, oh, I mean, you know. And I'm like, no, defend that position. I want to hear that position. I'm curious. But I think he was worried he'd offended me. And I'm like, you're not offending me. I feel like you and I, talking to you, you and I have kind of hashed out where, when, and how. Like, what does this, where do we fall on this, you and me, you know?
Yeah. And we're both kind of like, so here's the big thing is we're both kind of in that same position of where we don't like where AI currently sits.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But we also aren't totally against it either.
Right. We see a home that could happen here.
Like, I am seeing the future.
Yeah.
And whether or not we like it doesn't matter.
Yeah, it doesn't matter whether we like it or not. I agree.
The problem is that it's the people that use it to as easy street, you know, get your degree without doing anything, which was essentially Bob's position. That's where it's coming.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah.
And like using it as not necessarily even the final art, but using it as part of brainstorming, I'm okay with, actually. You know?
Yeah, I mean, well, and that's, you know, he was pointing out that there's a bias. And that's the interesting thing, was he was talking about the bias where he takes the artwork and shows it to our buddy Ross and says, isn't this cool? Ross says yes. And he says it's AI, and then Ross says it's lifeless. I mean, even in this discussion, he's sort of coming back and defending a different position, you know?
Yeah. But it's a good position to talk about is the bias.
That's why I was like, don't defend yourself. You don't need to be you don't need to be defensive about this. This is brilliant. You know, we're having this great discussion.
Because I think there's too many artists that are upset and angry and aren't rationally looking at, okay, it's here. This is not going away. How do we deal with this?
Right. Or even more useful, how can we pivot and use it?
Yeah.
Which is what I'm trying to do. How can I pivot and use this without
How can I use this to my advantage?
Right. Without it being destructive or, you know. I think you and I are trying to figure that out. How can we use this? Are there uses other than just, no, it's useless?
And that's why I think it's actually a little bit of a shame that they fixed the finger thing.
Yeah.
Because I don't think that it will now generate that piece of art that really inspired me. Where it went so insane with the fingers, they were coming out of the ground. But
Right.
it was graphically such an amazing
Concept.
idea. It was a concept that I loved. And that isn't to say I'm not smart enough to eventually hit on that. I think I probably would have, but it would have taken me a little bit longer had I not had a machine screw up the way it did.
Mhm. Yep.
Also, the other nice thing about tonight was I played around with inks, traditionally inking,
Which looked
because
great.
someone was talking about that earlier in the day for me, about how, if you're digital, then you weaken yourself by not working traditionally. And I disagreed with that. And tonight just kind of proved that it, digital is digital, traditional is traditional. I do both.
Well, and that was kind of one of the things I was pondering as well, right? And I'm not, I mean, that is kind of a thing that I'm thinking about, is everything I'm doing is digital. I did just go get all of my dad's, like, drawing materials and things like that. So now I've got all of his quill pens and things like that. We're doing good tonight, Sugar Plum. How are you doing?
Hi, Sugar Plum. How you doing?
Maybe I won't. Got this over here. Very good. Very well. Yeah, it's fascinating to me. A lot of this is fascinating to me.
I also learned something very important. I need to get out more.
Yes. Yes, I'm glad you showed up tonight. I'm really glad you did. An awful lot of like random stars. Or random flowers. I mean, like a lot of random flowers.
And over here, we'll put a happy random flower.
Right? I just feel like I've got like all these flowers. I'm like, what am I using flowers for? I don't really have a romantic comic, you know? I guess there will be a romantic comic somewhere along the line, I'm sure, but it's still kind of like, well,
Oh, and one of the things I'd like to talk about with AI is something we're starting to see, and that is the people that are being accused of AI who are not AI artists.
right.
Like, that's almost fascinating, too, as a discussion.
Yeah. Well, that was another thing you were talking about, which was that concept. And I thought about it and I was like, that is intriguing.
In a bad way.
In a very bad way. I mean, it's sometimes something can be fascinating and interesting, even though you know it's sucky. Like, you know, people accusing you of AI art, which isn't. It's for us, it's not that hard. We're broadcasting all the time, so you can pretty much say, "Yeah, well, you can come watch us actually physically do this." But not everybody does that, you know.
Or the other one, which is what was happening, was people are going, "You're ripping off this guy's art." And they were talking to the guy. They
Yeah.
were talking to the artist directly.
And that's like an extension of the fascinating discussion where the doctor gets up and starts talking about a specific thing, and some guy mansplains her and says, you know, you should read blah blah blah, and she's like, I am blah blah blah. You know,
Yeah.
it's the same, like that weird cognitive dissonance. Like, I don't know. Okay. I think I have all the dialogue in, and now I have all of the artwork is in. The backgrounds are solid. This page still has its what's it's on it. Which means that we only have one remaining task, and this guy is ready to go. $144 progressive? That's really weird. Our stream shouldn't be doing that. Yeah, we're at full high definition 1080p. Huh. Oh, note that some platforms like LinkedIn and Facebook are downgrading stream quality to just HD. So if you want the high quality version, go to Twitch or YouTube.
Or pay $8.99 for the blue check mark on Twitter. And
Not doing that. Nobody needs to worry about that.
there was something the other day that popped up that's like, you could do this for only, and I'm like, no, I will not.
Yep. Man. Yeah,
Oh, are you getting visited?
I'm always visited. I'm a very specific person who always visits me every night.
Are you getting cat-splained?
Always. Yes, you just have to tell me how to live life.
Huh. That's very weird, Garuda. I also want to kind of put to bed a fear of yours, Guy.
A fear of the what?
A fear of yours that you were
Oh.
telling me about earlier regarding what I've been doing.
Okay. You mean burning out?
Well, no,
Because that's a definite legit fear I have.
that is a legit fear. No, about the redraw of issue 1,
Oh, okay. Mm-hmm.
and that is if I hit a certain point and I'm not through it, I have not gotten rid of any of the art. So what I'll do is I'll probably just push through and I'll just go, okay, black, done.
Mm-hmm. I'm not as worried about the redraw as I am you burning out.
Yeah, that's
that's-
also something I'm going to gauge. And
Yeah.
if it feels like I'm starting to do that, I am going to stop. Because
Yeah,
definitely
that's-
this week, that's a possibility with how much I have to get done.
Yeah. That's my concern. I'm not worried about you redrawing. You can redraw to your heart's content. I mean, I might make snarky comments referring to George Lucas. However, they are all in good fun. And just me messing with you because it's funny. But that's a different
But
story.
I am actually legitimately curious. If you were in my position, how would you handle this?
I actually am in your position to some degree. Because I flattened the pages for the first half of the comic on this one. Because this was prototyping. So all the pages are flattened.
But they're still in print ready format.
No, they weren't.
They were small?
Yeah, and I've got that same problem with the first. I want to say definitely the first 30 spring strips are all at like 150 DPI. So they're looking blurry when I print them. So we're going to have to redraw them. It's just the way it goes. I'm hoping that I saved the original strips pages in one of these myriad of boxes over here, which are just, full of papers. And at some point, I will just rescan those guys in at 600 DPI and all will be good. And we won't have a problem anymore. But back when those first comics were written in 2000 and 2001, they couldn't be 15 meg files. That was too much space, which is weird to say. But anyway, so I actually don't have any real problem with what you're doing with redrawing this at all. In fact, I probably would have done the same thing had it not been my wife making a statement of, I like to see how people grow. I like to see how the art grows and changes, which makes me feel better about it,
Yeah.
So, had she not said that, I might be constantly going back to issue 1 and redrawing and issue 2 and redraw, like just constantly re-trolling things. But that makes it easier for me to accept that these things happen, and you can whatever. Anyway, so yeah, as far as me calling you George Lucas, I'm just harassing you. It's friendly banter. In real life, I don't feel like you're doing anything wrong. You know what I mean? Does that make any sense?
Yeah.
Like, I got no issue. I'm just haranguing you because it's funny. And you and I spend literally 4 hours a day together every day. So a little bit of ribbing is going to happen. Congratulations, Garuda, who finished a page.
Yay!
But yeah, I don't have any problem with what you're doing. You're doing fine.
And then the other thing I have to get used to is after this con coming up, quarantine.
Yeah.
Like, I just had a buddy come back from Adepticon. And it wouldn't be fair to him that we're telling him to
quarantine
after Adepticon, and then after Wicked West, I don't. You know.
Right. Yeah, I agree. What's your quarantine time?
So if I don't test positive, if I test positive, it's 10 days. If I don't test positive, it's a week.
Fair.
Because I feel like after a week, you would know.
Yeah, you know.
But if after a week I start going, guys, I'm not feeling good, then I'll immediately go, I'm not coming in out of safety.
Fair.
Yeah. And it's something like, after like a week or 3 days or something like that, it's actually a really short time.
Mm-hmm. I agree. And like I said, just remind me to wear a mask if you want me to. I'm totally cool with it. I just don't remember it.
Yeah.
And part of the reason I don't remember it is because I kind of come to the conclusion that I have either I have something that's keeping me relatively safe, but not because
which is a false sense of security.
it is. It's totally a false sense of security. But it also is, it is a real thing. It is real. Maybe a false sense of security, but it is a real belief system in my head that means that I have to overwrite it manually.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's why part of what I have to work on is it has to do with the other side where I've been sick so many times that I'm now afraid to go out.
Right.
And I have to start beating that.
Agreed. Well, and I mean, it doesn't help any that between Mariah and I, we haven't gotten COVID. You know what I mean? And goodness knows she's been exposed. And so it really isn't, it's that survivorship bias that I was just talking about. We totally are suffering from survivorship bias.
Yeah. And I'm suffering from the
PTSD.
opposite of that. Yeah.
You're suffering from PTSD. And legitimately, that's what this is. And no one can naysay that. You know what I mean? Like, that's a legit thing. That's why it's important for me to tell you, please tell me to wear a mask if you want me to. I have no problem wearing a mask. I have no issue. You know what I mean? Like, you're not going to offend me. I just have survivorship bias and I can't seem to shake it. And, so yeah.
What's up?
I just get aggravated about stupid stuff. That's all. When I hit Control A to select all, it always has the focus on the folder that I was in. So it selects all of the pictures in the folder instead of selecting
Yeah.
the picture that I just imported into the thing. And if I'm not careful, and I have done this a couple of times, I then select something else and bring it in with all of them selected. And then we have to wait for like 2 minutes while it loads all 50,000 pictures in that directory into Clip Studio so that I can close all 50,000 pictures, you know. So it's so frustrating that that's what it does. That's all. That's all.
Oh, let's test something.
Twitch is so much better, right? Garuda's moved over to Twitch.
Let's test the thing.
Oh, the thing. The thing. Okay. Hang on. I don't need to save you, but I need to save you. And then I need to close you before we screw up the comic that needs to go to print.
Yeah, don't do that.
Let's not blow that one up testing this theory. Okay, what am I doing? This is a new.
Okay, so go into story mode.
So, wait here. For some reason, comic. No, you want because there's no story. Well, story mode. So you want a new. Let's make a new comic, right? New comic.
It is new printing, or it's printing a fanzine, is what the tab is called.
Got it. Probably not 96 pages. Let's just do 12.
You don't even need to do that much. Do 4.
Or just one quad. Okay. 4 cover pages plus 0 body pages. Let's do 8. There we go. Okay. We'll call this test 01. And then we'll put it in, not in Bellatrix Rising. Let's put it out on the desktop. New folder. I'm at test 01. Okay, we'll call it test 01. I created it. Give it a second. It needs to generate the pages. All right, it has created it. Now go to story mode. What am I doing in story mode?
Okay, do save as.
Do save as now.
Yeah.
Okay, save as. In a different folder.
Or just do save. Something so that this is saved.
It's already saved.
Okay. So now go to that folder.
While it's open, or close it.
Close it.
Closing it. Okay. Comic test 01. You got it? It says test 01. Here we go. So you
Okay.
can see.
Change that name to test 02.
Okay. Just that.
Yep, go into it now.
And then open test01.cmc.
Yep.
What am I looking for?
It should have already done it. It would bring up an error message saying, hey, we can't do this.
Oh.
So let me show you what it's doing on my side.
Oh, don't blow up your thing.
No, I'm not blowing up my thing.
Okay.
I'm putting too much effort into this.
Right. That said, I mean, didn't that mean that solved your problem?
Potentially, but I'll show you what it's doing on my side. New fanzine, 8 pages, testing. So here it is.
Mm-hmm.
Everything is saved. Close that. I'll call this. Because what I'm getting from time to time is it'll go, I can't figure this out. What's going on? You've changed the file function. What's going on?
Right.
And it's actually I've researched it, and it's a legitimate problem.
Have you tried opening the old comic recently?
Yes.
Okay.
With the ones that aren't deleted, yes. Let's see if I can bring up one that's doing that. Doing it for I Was Here. I'm doing it for that one. But it's one that I keep getting hit with, and it's like, it's so frustrating.
Well, that's what I was saying. Have you tried recently? Because if so, maybe it's sorted itself out, and we can solve a lot of problems all of a sudden. You know what I mean?
I don't think so. Let me go into my drive. Speaking of which, I need to back up issue 5.
Right.
There it is.
I'm going to open the page management file. The following pages cannot be found. Oh yeah. Open support page. It doesn't help you, I'm sure. It's about as useful as nothing.
But that's what I keep getting hit with.
And that's if you open it, if it's been moved, or
Yeah, if it's been moved, it suddenly hits.
Then the obvious didn't work. You could not just move it back temporarily.
Correct. That issue lingers.
So, have you tried opening the individual pages though?
Yes. And that's what I get hit with.
So, if you do page like 0049.clip, it doesn't work. Gotcha.
Correct.
And moving it back does not work because you can't move it back because I stood up and popped bones, so I missed whatever you said there.
So, like, that page worked, 44, but page 2 doesn't.
That doesn't even make sense. Yeah, I can see why that's extraordinarily frustrating. And the only problem I've got is, of course, I can't test it because we just tested it. And yes, it worked, but then it also worked on your side too, which then means that it's intermittent.
Yeah.
And Garuda's having janky issues on his side.
When you move a clip file into a work folder to a different location or change its file name, opening the CMC file will display the following error. And the solution for it is create a copy backup file in another location and perform the following operation. It's like, move the file back to the original work folder.
Right. Which is fine unless you've lost the original work folder.
Yeah.
Yeah, I follow that. All right. I'm going to BRB. I'm going to real quickly run downstairs and fix the coffee and stuff like that so that I can be ready to go to bed. So I'll be right back in just a sec.
Okay. That's really weird.
Yeah, sorry. I'm back.
Welcome back. Welcome back to the Cantankerous Old Man Show.
Right. You're not wrong.
Oh, that's fantastic to hear.
Yeah, I was gonna say, it seems like it's working just fine now.
He was having some problems there for a moment.
Very touch and go.
I'm
I am determined to not do this right. Cranky, cranky, cranky me. I'm being cranky tonight. Whee! The ghost of 3DS Max. Extra funny if you've ever used 3DS Max. So my therapist has assigned me a job of drawing overweight people again. Did I tell you about her little mission on that one?
no.
Because I was saying I have like problems with like specifically me being overweight. But it wasn't down enough, Cat? I think you're picking it up and dropping it again. Anyway. So she has decided that she wishes me to draw overweight people to see specifically overweight men. And I was saying I don't have as much of a problem with overweight women, strangely enough, although I know that society does. I don't necessarily. But it was, and it's not necessarily men in general, it's me specific.
Yeah.
But I'm not really good at self-portraits, so I think she's just kind of
Pushing you in that direction.
yeah. But she hit upon something that I didn't even think about today. It was fascinating, and now I'm kind of in the self-reflection side of my world without even knowing that I had to go into the zone. But when I was a kid, Mom was one of those rescue people. She brought people in who had been in bad relationships and needed a place to live for a while they got back up on their feet and stuff like that. And never really thought of it, but my therapist had pointed it out that has an effect on teenage boys. You know, it had a profound effect on me. Like, you know, there's a lot of people who are clearly upset, clearly hurt, clearly in bad shape. These girls had been molested and they had been, you know, abused and things like that. And that has a profound effect on how I respond to women. You know, I never wanted to be that person, never, sort of thing. So as she was observing, I sometimes am overly protective, like I promise I'm not meaning this. I promise I don't mean that, sort of thing, like overly defensive, pre-defensive, like defensive when I don't need to be defensive,
Yeah.
And this had started because she had sprained her arm skiing a while back, and I have been somewhat intrigued by this. What muscles were damaged, what muscle groups, things like that. And I started to get into this. I am so sorry. I don't mean to be, imagining things going on in your body. That's, and stuff like that. She's like, that's a weird thing to say. Why would you say that? That's, doesn't bother me at all. So let's discuss that. So I was like, what? Wait a minute. She's like, why do you feel like you need to apologize for that? You're an artist. Muscles and muscle groups are a thing you deal with all the time. Why is this an issue? I don't know, actually. But it was an interesting discussion because I hadn't thought about it. And certainly Mom didn't think anything of it either. It's not like she thought she was doing a good thing. She was, she's
And
helping
she was.
everybody.
She was. There's nothing.
Right. There's absolutely nothing wrong with what happened, but it had an interesting side effect that no one foresaw. I didn't realize I had that side effect. But it's very, very important to me to not be a threat. And not just to women, but to men too. It's very important for me not to be a threat to you. That's a very important thing. And a lot of it is because, boy, there is some serious fallout when you are a threat, when you're dealing with someone who is a threat. So anyway, fascinating day today with my therapist. And also, I clearly have zero interest in, privacy for myself. I don't care. Clearly.
I think you do care.
Maybe. I mean, I guess where are you headed on that? Defend your position.
It's exactly that. It's you have other people defend their position, and I think it's because you want to kind of see where they're coming from to see if you're in the wrong or not.
You may be right.
I may be crazy,
But it just may be a lunatic you want to work with.
Yeah.
Because, I love you and all, man, but, No, you say that and I'm like, because you're right. Am I in the wrong? Am I wrong? It's like, I don't know. I see what you're saying and I'm not opposed. It's hard though.
I'm not saying it's easy.
Nothing in life is easy. Except for Oreo cookies. Stupid Oreo cookies. What's so funny is I like the phrase defend your position, but it does sound challenging. You know what I mean? Okay, Brian, defend your position.
Yeah, it sounds like you're actively hostile.
Yeah. Not really what I'm after, but you're right. Maybe it's okay to be a little bit aggressive, you know?
I wasn't saying it wasn't.
Yeah, I'm saying it to myself. Because that's one of the other things. You know, don't want to be an aggressive person. Don't want to make you uncomfortable, you know.
I think that part comes from the people that you inadvertently made uncomfortable.
Yeah. That's what she was asking. She was like, have you ever had an experience where you made people uncomfortable? And I don't remember it.
Yes, you do.
Well, yes.
Absolutely.
You mean you and other times like that? Yes. But I mean, like,
Well, not just
keep going.
not just me. I'm referring to there's been other people, particularly lately.
Yeah. Yes. I think I know exactly who you're referring to at this point in time, and I'm still sad about that.
Yeah.
No, there's still like specifically one time which still burns with that I did with you, and it still hurts to think about it. You're like, I've forgotten. Most people do. That's the problem. Well, I'm not saying you have. I'm just saying I've noticed that most people do forget, and I don't. It stays with me.
I don't forget, but
It's a non-issue.
Yeah.
I understand.
like I can't hold on to grudges.
That's
Like-
fine. I don't either. Except against myself. I'm like, that was kind of actually profound.
Yeah.
Oddly profound.
So did I tell you what happened with the holder,
The what?
the tablet holder that I wound up
Oh,
building?
you end up making a new one? Wholesale? I like that.
Yeah. So bring it out. Where's that other one at? It's right here.
this are you leaning on it or what's going on?
So here is the original one.
Right.
Okay. And it's supposed to hold your tablet up like this. But the weight between my arm pressing on the tablet and the heaviness of the tablet has not only caused these to snap, but it's also caused this part to snap. So I'll be drawing and all of a sudden
It's just flat.
it's doing that action on me.
Right.
And then these are like that. It's like I got so angry. And this stupid sucker cost me $30. $30
Right.
for garbage. So yeah, that was the straw that broke the camel's back today.
Yeah, I'm with that. Good heavens. It's almost midnight, guys. Stop racing around in your loud cars.
That's one of the softer guys.
Yeah. You had one of the louder ones earlier. You're like, I don't even notice anymore. I've tuned them out.
I kind of had to.
Yeah. I don't blame you.
There's one guy, he has a Charger, I think, like a Dodge Charger.
Mm-hmm.
And that one, it is so loud. You can actually feel the vibrations from it. And he comes shooting down the street.
Right. I don't get it. I mean, I get the freedom thing, but this is always so frustrating to me. It's like there's a difference between freedom and being a jerk. The thing that always gets me about people who talk about freedom is if they perceive that their freedoms are being inhibited. Just perceive it. It justifies in their brain being complete obnoxious jerks and imposing themselves upon other people. you know, and being super rude.
Well, it's like the guys that have the "Don't tread on me."
Yeah.
It's like no one's treading on you.
Yeah.
In fact, you're treading on other people.
Well, that's sort of my problem is like they've got "Don't tread on me," and then they promptly use they're treading on me as an excuse to tread on people, you know. It's like, and the worst part about it is it makes people then impose laws to stop them from treading on them, which then justifies their position, you know. See, they're treading on me now, you know. Like, no, no, you're the one being a jerk about all this, you know.
All it takes is one bad apple.
Yeah. Kind of don't want to necessarily stop here. But it's midnight and I'm going to have to get up with the kid. Maya took the day off tomorrow, so I get the feeling she kind of doesn't want to get up early. It's kind of sad she doesn't get spring break. And so she's been sad because they keep going, you know, have a great spring break. And she's like, crap. But she has to work. So she has days off stored up. So she
That's very weird. You'd think that they would give the teachers rest time.
Yeah, they do, but she's got a specialized job that's not that, which is part of the problem. And frankly, you know, we were like, we accept that we are making less money on but then we also get time off, breaks, you know, to go places and stuff like that. When she decided to be a teacher, that was okay, but here's the payoff, you know, we get spring break and all of those things. And so far, she hasn't managed to have those. She's managed to get into jobs that constantly have her working through all the breaks. In this job, finally, she gets summer off, but she hasn't had that since she started. And it's almost like, gosh, you know, you never think about just how miserable the conditions are for teachers. Not only do they not get paid, but, you know, they're slowly removing the one benefit you had from being a teacher, which was you got summer vacation, you know?
Yeah. By the way, there goes that guy that
with the charger
car you could feel.
Yeah.
Or at least one of them.
Yeah. What's he doing out at midnight?
Racing home as quickly as possible.
I guess.
I'll let you figure out why.
have good standing theories.
Okay, this page is done, essentially.
Yeah, I'm gonna finish these last few lines, and then this guy can be put not to bed. We're gonna have to come back in and work on him tomorrow, but at least the primary stuff will be done.
Actually, this page turned out very nice.
Yeah, I like that page.
I mean, not that the original was bad.
No, of course not.
So that's the original page.
Mm-hmm. 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 Mm-hmm.
Page.
There we go.
What I might do is I might just update the text so that it's not a different text from what I have. You know, the fonts
Yeah.
the same. So let's go ahead and do that. Because when I imported this, it was actually bigger than what I'm looking at, which terrified me.
Right. And this is where I am for the night. That's not bad.
No, that's pretty good.
Does give you an idea of how big the MPV's legs are, though. It's a much bigger vehicle than it looks like. Because that's just one motor on the MPV. There's four, one on each leg for driving those drive wheels. All right, my friend, I think it's time for us to go.
Okay.
It's time for us to call it for the night. Go to
Yeah.
bed. That means you too, you fuzzy beast, you. You fuzzy. He's like curled up on the chair over here.
Yes,
It's good to hang
please.
out with you too, Garuda. I'm glad
Yeah.
you got the page done. That we celebrated.
And please come in at any time you want.
Cool. Well, then, I am OOH, and you are OOH. I'll see you in the morning. Same bat time, same bat channel. And we'll be back here. Talk to you all later. Bye.
Ah.